Last February, something began. A season of learning, a season of alignment, a season where God's Word met our daily lives. It was our first learning month, and through teachings, worship, prayer, and conversations across culture and technology, God's Word took root. But learning was never the destination, it was preparation. This year, the call is clear. Be strong and let not your hands be weak. This February, we are not just gathering to learn, we're being positioned to act. Prepare your heart for power-packed sessions designed to strengthen you spiritually and all round for a season of fruitful labor. Join us at the Citadel Global Community Church every Sunday this February at 9 a.m. as we gather to be blessed by God's ministers, featuring Pastor Dele Oshumakinde, Pastor Jumoke Adenowo, Fela Durotoye, Pastor Debola Deji Kuromi, and our servant overseer, Pastor Tunde Bakare. CGCC Learning Month 2026, strengthened for action.
Good morning. Do you seek to learn how you'd make your business thrive in an ever-evolving marketplace, rife with new technology? Do you want to learn how to grow and compete in an AI-driven age? If your answer is yes, then you are at the right place. My name is OJ, and you're welcome to the Citadel Global Community Church's Technology Webinar, powered by the Learning Capacity Development and Integration Unit. And it is themed The Future of Technology in Africa. It promises to be power-packed. Now, before we begin to lay bare the secrets of success, can we please make welcome for the opening prayer, Mr. Segun Sanyolu.
Thank you for today. Thank you for another opportunity to gather together to learn and to minister to today. We pray for inspiration for all families, every speaker.
OJ, we can't hear Mr. Shogun, so please, can you do the opening prayers?
All right. Can we please have the opening prayer? I will be leading that. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to be gathered here today. We thank you that we know that the word that will come forth will be transformational. Everyone tuning in from far and wide, seeking to understand their role and how they can grow in this technology age, will be blessed with information they can apply that will further them into success. In Jesus' most precious name, we have prayed. And the people of God said, Amen. Right about now, I'm going to be introducing our keynote speaker. I told you before, this promises to be really exciting. So you want to get your notepads ready, you want to get your iPads ready, your tablets, whatever pad you have, because our keynote speaker is someone who is going to be giving out wisdom and a lot of knowledge that you can utilize in your day-to-day business and activities of your person. For our keynote speaker, he is a senior business and technology executive with about 25 years of experience driving enterprise growth, digital transformation, and technology modernization across financial services and global technology organizations in Africa. He is the commercial business leader and Enterprise Business Digital Transformation Director at Amazon Web Services, where he pioneered the enterprise cloud business in West Africa, built a $30 million portfolio, and advised executive leadership teams on leveraging cloud and AI to achieve scale, resilience, and sustainable growth. That's not all. Previously, he spent 12 years at Microsoft as a director, contributing to the growth of Microsoft Nigeria from $50 million to, listen, $150 million, and earlier played a key role for 8 years in Zenith Bank's transformation into Nigeria's leading digital bank. He brings to boards deep expertise in strategy, technology, governance, enterprise risk, and growth execution. He holds an executive master's degree in digital transformation and innovation leadership from IE Business School, Spain, alumnus of INSEAD, and Wharton Business School. An engineering degree from Ladoke Akintola University, that's our Nigerian branch of his degrees. Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, over 30 professional certifications, and is currently pursuing a Doctor of Business Administration. Outside of work, he enjoys spending quality time with his family, reading, and maintaining an active lifestyle through regular gym sessions. He is married to Olajumoke Akomolafe, and they are blessed with 3 children. Can we please make welcome our keynote speaker, Mr. Kayode Akomolafe.
Thank you. Thank you very much, OJ. Hope everyone can hear me well. Okay, so I will dive deep into it. The topic I'll be speaking on is the future of technology in Africa, building innovation and leading the world. Before I deep dive into it, I want to appreciate the leadership of the church, led by Serving Overseer and his wife, and the entire leadership for the opportunity to be able to speak and share knowledge at this webinar. And I also want to applaud the leadership of the learning department for putting together a forward-looking, thoughtful topic as this is. This is really, really empowering us to be able to participate in the global digital economy. So I will deep dive into it. This is the agenda I will be speaking to. I'm going to start by just sharing opportunities that exist in Africa, and then some of the current success stories that we've seen on the African soil, and then share some of the challenges we have and what we can do, and most importantly, what you can do as an individual to participate in this digital ecosystem. Yes, we are all aware the demographic dividend that Africa has globally today. Africans were very young, were digital native from population perspective, and very, very large untapped workforce and consumer markets. It is estimated that by 2050, 1 out of 4 people globally will be an African. That is massive. That is a lot of opportunities that presents to Africa and Africans. That is you and I, as it were. So I want you to put your thoughts on that. Then we can move to the digital native population that we have in Africa. We have already built what we call a mobile first infrastructure that has allowed us to bypass legacy systems and adopt cutting-edge technology directly. So some foundation have already been built within the African soil. Today we have 86% broadband coverage. We have already connected 1.1 billion mobile connections. Those are the potentials that Africa has presented itself with today. Then if we move to the investors' confidence, that is talking about the global flow or inflow of cash into the African soil to drive innovations. We see a huge jump from 2014 to 2020 of around it quadrupled from 70 to 300. And we at that point we also have the startup ecosystem within the African soil growing in an astronomical number. As of 2021, we have 4 unicorn. When we say unicorn, we're talking of startups that they are valued above $1 billion in terms of valuation. Today, we're still counting. The last time I checked, we have 10 plus unicorn on the African soil. That is a pointer to the fact that Africa presents a huge opportunity when it comes to our global tech ecosystem, right? Capitalists, they follow the money where the money is. So there is money in Africa, hence why the investment to participate in that ecosystem is growing at that astronomical value. Then the economic momentum, the fastest economies and massive infrastructure investment from global tech giants like Microsoft, Google, AWS, Huawei, and more. It's also a pointer to the fact that Africa is ready. We're no more in potential. We are a reality that global tech companies are putting their money where their mouth is. We're seeing nearly 100% growth in the last 6 years in terms of infrastructure investments within the African soil. So that is also very important. That is a pointer to the fact that Africa is a destination for growth. We're a destination for tech ecosystem globally. And when you talk of AI, right, OJ did mention earlier, it talks about, right, you tapping into AI. We're also not left behind when it comes to global AI leadership. Africa, we are already a top 3 global AI adopters. We're leading when it comes to AI integrations, right? And that's a very good point because as African, we have really not participated in the previous industrial revolutions, right? Some people say we're in the 5th industrial revolution. Some people say we're in the 4th. No matter what the number is, the fact is we have not been participating. We have been missing, right? And there are several reasons to that, but that's not the essence for the webinar for today. But the good news is we are actively involved now. We are 3rd global AI adopters. 34% of organizations within the MEA region, where we are, that is Middle East and Africa, they're already deploying AI in one shape or form as we speak today. And 7% of enterprise are already scaling AI globally out of Africa, right? As we speak today, and that is just behind Central and South Africa and North America. So that is also a good thing to know, that we're not missing out when it comes to the fifth industrial revolutions, which is being pioneered via artificial intelligence. So the last point I'm going to third point on the potentials is the $1 trillion opportunity, right? The opportunity is massive in terms of what is there within the tech ecosystem in Africa. This is Africa's moment to lead. There is the wow factor of the 1 trillion AI opportunity by 2025. We're just in 2026. That's just less than a decade from now. This is our moment to lead. That is a huge opportunity. And if you look at the entire AI opportunity, which is about 15.7 trillion, you agree with me that even 1 trillion is just the tip of the iceberg, right? It means we can do more. Maybe we can do 5 trillion, right? We can take larger share of that 15.5 trillion. And Africa's young innovations are already seeing that. They are tapping into that already. I was in a conference late last year, and I was blown away to see what is coming out of the African soil. I saw a young lady in her early 20s that is already building an AI solutions to solve our refuse collection problems within the African soil, and quite a lot more. So the opportunity is massive. And the opportunity is presenting itself to young innovators, those that can innovate, those that can see that opportunities. We'll transit to my next slide. So my next slide is really talking about the fact that, yeah, I earlier touched base on some of the opportunities that we have, right, in terms of the pointer to the fact that the time is now, the time is right in terms of Africa and Africans participating in the digital economy and leading the next set of global innovation into the world. This is already happening, and that is what my next slide is talking about. So this is not something that is still, it's always been Africa as a potential, untapped potential. No, Africa is already executing on those potentials. Africa is now. There are a lot of technological advancement that is being applied to agriculture on the African soil today. I was listening to, I think the Minister of Agriculture late last year, and he was talking about the fact that somewhere in the East Africa, the same square meters of land yield in terms of cassava is 4x what an average farmer yields in Nigeria. And what has this East African country done? They've deployed technology, right? So that is already happening. You see innovation around crop monitoring, precision farming. You see agri-tech startups like Ujisi Kilomo in Kenya and Zenvos in Nigeria that are using AI to analyze soil data, weather patterns, and historical crop outcomes to help farmers make data-driven decisions. In South Africa, we have robotics that employs drone technology and machine learning algorithm to monitor crops for early signs of diseases, water stress, or nutrient deficiency, enabling farmers to act promptly and reduce losses. So this innovation are already happening. There is predictive analysis where farmers are deploying AI tools to forecast weather patterns, optimize crop yields, using drone sensors to scrutinize soil health and more. So these innovations are already happening today on the African soil. They are not just things that we are speculating is going to happen in the future. And in education, technology is already being deployed. We have AI-powered learning platforms. Anthropic has already partnered with the Rwandan government, and they've deployed ALX. They codename the project Chidi. It's an AI learning assistant that helps students work through complex coding challenges to understand data science concepts and develop problem-solving skills. So these are already active, are being used on the African soil today. We have the multilingual content creation. We have the personalized learning path where students can personalize their own learning and learn at its own pace, right? The physical classroom is blurring, right? There's a thin line between this physical classroom and digital classroom. And we're also seeing that in Nigeria today. We see some of the state governors already deploying technology to accelerate learning and ensure that our population are deploying the right technology, the right skills to be able to participate in this massive digital economics. So these solutions are addressing diverse problems, linguistic, cultural, and literacy needs, and they are improving access to quality education. That is what this technology has done right here on the African soil today. I will also mention the healthcare use case. Technology is also being deployed today in the healthcare, from diagnostic supports to healthcare deliveries. We see technology playing a vital role to accelerate and add values to the citizen. We have medical imaging and diagnostics. It's been proven that with AI, just going through an imagery of whether it's X-ray or whatever it is, an AI can see what human eye cannot see. And just by deploying AI, we've seen a lot of diseases, a lot of issues being resolved quickly and life being saved. Clinical documentation and decision support, population health management, telemedicine, and remote care. These are AIs that are already being used on the African soil today. And they are addressing Africans' acute shortage of healthcare professionals, because we have healthcare professional shortage, right? A lot of shortages. While improving diagnostic accuracy, reducing costs, and expanding access to quality healthcare services. So again, the future is now. This is already happening on the African soil. We see a lot of technology, AI-driven technology being deployed to solve some of our unique challenge problems already. Yes, the potential is there, huge potentials. We have use cases that we are already seeing within the African soil today, but there are challenges. Our main key challenges is skills gap and talent shortage, and that is where you and I can play very big roles. If you look at the screen, what I'm sharing now, you see that the cloud shortage is a top challenge. In Nigeria, 51% lack the required skills to participate within this digital ecosystem that we are talking about. And organizations within the African soil, 81% of those organizations are citing, attracting, and hiring talent to manage cloud adoptions and technology adoptions as their top challenges. Sometimes when I see, student youth looking for job, when they should be acquiring acquiring skills, I just wonder because where I work, for example, there are a lot of jobs that we're looking to be filled, but sometimes we couldn't get the right skills here locally, and we have to go elsewhere to get it. So that is top challenge, and it's not just in Nigeria, it's across the Africa. You can see 49% in Egypt, compare with elsewhere globally, which are in the 70s, in the 80s, in terms of how well they've done ensuring that their citizens have the right skills to be able to participate in this digital economy. Another challenge is investment deficit. Yes, we have a lot of investment flows, but we still have opportunities. It's estimated that we need annually 245 billion to be able to solve some of our challenges, ranging from regulatory challenges to infrastructure challenges, skill and training that I mentioned earlier, cybersecurity, research and development. There are quite a number of them, right? 245 billion is what is estimated that we need consistently to be able to fill that gap. But if you look at the other slide that I put on the team, there is also 192 billion dollars that is also being siphoned out of Africa each year for different reasons, contract inflations, just to mention a few, right? So we need 245 billion. 192 billion is already living illegally. Maybe we just need to look at both sides to be able to solve their problems. So that is a challenge. And I also want to make sure I call that out. And the challenge is there for you and I to go and solve. Those are the opportunities that are there. There are other challenges, the cybersecurity threats, data privacy and sovereignty, talent retention, digital divide, regulatory fragmentation. And that is a big deal that I see across, the African soil, right? Each country want to have their regulation. They want to have what we call data sovereignty, data residency. And sometimes you ask questions, it's a chicken and an egg. What does that really mean, right? If you look at developed markets that were emulating, like Europe, right? That is the European Union. Yeah, what they have is an EU regulations where they have a big market for their tech ecosystem to be able to play with it. You have the United States of America, right? Don't forget United States of America, right? We need to have United States of Africa, right? Another version of US of A, where especially from regulatory fragmentation perspective, because we need to aspire and live beyond the walls, the virtual walls that the colonial rulers and masters they've built, right? To divide and conquer Africa, and we need to play as one entity, have a framework and regulation where there can be free flow of information, free flow of trade, free flow of access. That for me is very pivotal, and I'm going to really talk to that when we get to the some of the proposed solutions, as it were. So I'm going to move to some of the actionable solutions. What do we need to do, right? We need to establish cross-industry partnership. That is very key. Our preacher, I think, that opened up the Learning Month, really dive deep around partnership, right? Why King Solomon was successful and why King Jehoshaphat, right, failed. So partnership is key, and you must think partnership in whatever we're doing, between industry, between government, between institutions. We need to build local data centers to meet some of the data residency requirements. And when we talk about data residency, we need to be clinical. We need to do what we call a data classification exercise, right? We need to be sure what we mean by what customer data is, so that there is clarity in the way individuals, enterprise, and startup, right, they're able to diffuse that and leverage that to build a business that thrives out of Africa into the world. We need to see billionaires seeing building data center as a viable business, not just building an oil well, building a refinery, building a cement factories. We need to start seeing billionaires, not just building big financial institutions, to be building data centers, because that is what is going to power the next frontier. That's already powering the next frontier of innovations. It will surprise you that more than half of the total data centers in the world are in the United States of America. In fact, if you put the USA plus France plus Germany plus UK plus Russia together, they have between 60 to 70% of the entire, and China, 60 to 70% of the entire data centers in the world, where the rest of the world scramble for the rest. So data centers are going to power the next frontiers of innovation, and our billionaires need to start seeing that. They need to start putting money into that very early on. We need to build very strong governance, risk, compliance. We need to create data governance framework. We need government support with private sector investments. We need to create, regulatory sandboxes for fintechs to innovate. And we've seen that already work in a small country like Sierra Leone, where their central bank built sandboxes for innovators, and it accelerates innovations within that country, right? Sandboxes are just, an environment where innovators can come and test what they have, any idea they have. They give them a space digitally, and they can test it out. And once it's viable, right, they also support them with funding. Government need to start thinking how to be an enabler, right? In that realm, as it were. Area of focus, right? Because the problem are so many that we need to look at. So the three key areas that I'm highlighting is around policy regulations. That is a key enabler, and we need to be very, very crisp. Our government needs to formulate that. I love what CBN, Central Bank of Nigeria, has done around fintech, around startup regulation that they just released in a couple of days. It was done collaboratively, right? Some of us were invited to participate and contribute into that. So it has to be ecosystem driven. It has to be regulation and policy that is going to enable and allow African ecosystem to thrive. The next to it is skills development. That is what each and every one of us on this platform can do. A lot of us have our mobile phones today. And what do we do with it? Most of the time, we are consuming content. We are Facebook, Twitter, we are on Instagram, we're social media, right? Consuming content. But there are huge opportunities, learning opportunities. Where I work, for example, we have tons of videos, tons of materials free of charge. You just need to go to AWS Skills Builder, for example, and you can begin to learn any cloud skills to an expert level. And even the certification, some of it are $50, some of it are $100, right? That is less than what some of us used to buy, to do our hair or to do our makeup. So those are the areas that we need to start to look at as an individual. Yes, government is going to help, but we can't wait. We need to take that into our hand. If you're asking yourself, how can I participate in this digital ecosystem? in this $1 trillion business that is going on in Africa is by acquiring digital skills. You need to acquire digital skills. And the third one is infrastructure, right? We need to build infrastructure. Our billionaires need to see that as the next frontier, and they need to put money into that. Success factors. So these are some of the things I've put together that is going to enable successes and how we're going to see the African ecosystem, African tech, delivering, innovating out of African soil into the world, which we're already doing, right? As I mentioned earlier. So government support is key around regulatory framework, especially to ensure that we can have we can provide access. We can build a bridge between the have and have not, right? Create a platform where everybody can have access to, where an innovation that is right there, whether it's Sambisa Forest or whether it's in Sokoto, it's in Port Harcourt, whether Lagos is already oversaturated, it's in Ibadan, or whether it's in Abuja, or it's in Niger, or Jos, so that they are able to have access to right the right platform to be able to innovate at scale. Then private sector investment is also going to be instrumental. Government support has a weight of about 92% in terms of impact. Private sector investment is very important. I mentioned that our billionaires need to start coming together to build data centers, not just to build oil well and to build a refinery and manufacturing plants, because the next set of innovations is going to be coming from those data centers. The Western Union, the Western world are already investing trillions, billions of dollars to build those data centers, and we cannot continue to catch up. Skills availability. You ask me, some of these skills are already available digitally. It's only that maybe some of us don't know, and we don't know where to look. I think it starts from each and every one of us knowing our sweet spots. What can you do? What do you love to do? Right? What do you want to be? Where do you see yourself in the next 3-5 years? It's short to medium term. And build a plan. What skills do I require to get there? Right? Talk to friends, talk to family, talk to people around you to be able to guide you and help you shape something that you can roll up your sleeves and begin to learn. You need to acquire digital skills. Somebody said, "Oh, I'm just a petty trader. I'm selling just corn, or I'm selling pap in one street." Yeah, you still need digital skills, because there's a way you can package that your product, even though you are going to be manufacturing it in your backyard, right? But you can export it globally. It will amuse you that most of the big tech that you see today, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, most of them start from their backyard. It starts from their house. And years after, they became global company that we are all referencing today. So skills is already available, but each of us need to sit down. Like the Bible says, we want to build a house without us sitting down, counts the cost, right? So there needs to be strategy thinking, deep thinking around what you want to become, where you want to be, and then build a robust plan that you can execute on daily, consistently. The infrastructure quality is very important, regulatory clarity, then innovation ecosystem. Those are key areas that are put together success factors, as it were. So that is the end of my presentation. And then thank you for listening, and hope you're able to pick one or two things from the webinar. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so very much. That was so instructive, and I do like the fact that you encouraged people to go and get more skills. And just to speak to that, we'll be playing an advertorial from the Digitech Academy. But before we do that, I have a question for you. In fact, we have a plethora of questions online, but we won't be able to take everything here. We'll have to move that to the panel session. But we just want to take one of them. And this is from Adetola, right? How does this affect career guidance in secondary schools? Tech has greatly impacted many industries, and students are still applying for courses that tech have rendered redundant. So, how does this apply to secondary schools?
Yeah, thanks, OJ. I think that's a very good point. So, really, change is the only thing that is constant in life, right? We've been hearing that when we were kids. Is it true today, right? As technology is disrupting the career ecosystem, some jobs are. That's why I was very careful. I said disrupting. It's disrupting. It's not really wiping up careers, as many may believe, because as some job functions are disappearing, right, a lot more are coming up. And that is why skills acquisition, staying current, is very important, right? A few years ago, we don't have a lot of roles we have today. There is no data scientist, there is no data engineer, there is no data. I remember when business analysts started, right, within the ecosystem. So, yes, some jobs are disappearing, but a lot more are being created. As a matter of fact, no matter what you're studying today, no matter what you're doing, you must acquire digital skills. Whether you're a farmer, you are studying agriculture, or you are going to be a medical doctor, because the world we're going to be living in, or the world we're already living in, you will not be able to function optimally without deploying technology, right? That is the productivity booster that is at the heartbeat of the current industrial revolutions. So if I'm a student like you, what I'm going to be doing is, how can I augment what I'm being taught in school with technology? If you are studying architecture, if you're studying whatever it is that you're studying, right? There is a digital platform available today that is already enabling that career. There is a lot of innovation that is going on there. And that is what you should be using your phone for, not, watching pornography or consuming and and all sorts. No, it should be for you to be doing research and upskilling yourself on how you can be relevant. You can be at the top percentile globally in your career of choice. That should be what you should be thinking of, really. And once you do that, you discover that you fly higher, you will innovate. Last Sunday, I love the gentleman that, took us through how to prepare our CVs, right? It's good, right? But in this age, we are in the era of creating businesses, right? Young students out of secondary school are already innovating. They are already solving problems around them, right? They are leaving the school and they are spinning off their own startup to solve problems, right? Sometimes it's also good to work, right, within a structured enterprise to learn the culture of how to run business, the soft skills that need to be successful, but it needs to be balanced. So that's what I would say, OJ, really. It's just a new set of opportunities that tech has created that students need to go out, because sometimes in this part of the world we're still catching up, our curriculum is still catching up, but the information is out there on the internet. YouTube is there for you to go and learn. Google is there. There are even other specialized platforms where you can go and learn, but you need to go and search for it. You need to go and sit down, right? Outline what you want to do and go and search for it, and digitally upskill yourself. Hope I'm able to address that question, OJ.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much. I do like how you were able to break it down to just using your phone, so you don't think it's something that's very far-fetched or something you need to go to a rather far place to acquire. So where you are right now, you can do something about upscaling your skill sets. Thank you, our keynote speaker, Mr. Kayode Akomolafe. Right now, speaking of upscaling your skill set, let's see the Digitech infomercial.
Welcome to the future of IT education. At Digitech Academy, we have meticulously designed a space that enhances learning, collaboration, and comfort for you or your organization. Let's take you on a journey through our cutting-edge facilities.
Our interactive board revolutionizes teaching, enabling instructors to present, annotate, and engage learners with dynamic visuals. From coding lessons to project discussions, learning has never been this immersive. For those who prefer a classic approach, our whiteboard ensures quick sketches, formulas, and brainstorming sessions flow effortlessly.
Each workstation is powered by a high-speed processor that enhances readability and smoother navigation, perfect for coding, designing, and testing applications. Whether you are developing software or mastering cybersecurity, these machines are built for excellence. Our advanced camera enables seamless virtual learning, live streaming, and content recording. Whether you are teaching in person or remotely, your lesson will always reach your audience with clarity.
A conducive learning environment is essential. Our air-conditioned space ensures comfort throughout training sessions, allowing learners to stay focused and refreshed.
And speaking of comfort, our premium chairs and generous leg space make long study hour a breeze, because we believe great minds deserve great seats. Safety is paramount. With top-tier security measures in place, students and instructors can focus on learning, knowing they are in protected environment.
Our trainers bring real-world scenarios into the classroom, helping students develop critical thinking, problem-solving skills, and confidence to excel in the industry.
At Digitech Academy, we believe in equipping our students with world-class expertise. That's why we're forging partnerships with global IT leaders like Cisco and others to bring cutting-edge technologies, industry certifications, and real-world expertise into our classrooms.
Finally, with the provision of high-speed internet and cloud access that enables students to access resources, collaborate remotely, and stay connected with industry trends, as well as our flexible learning option, either during the weekends or online learning. Classes meant to accommodate different schedules and lifestyle will provide a learning experience that is immersive, relevant to the industry, and future-proof.
This is Digitech Academy, where innovation meets education. If you're ready to experience world-class IT training, look no further. The future is here and is waiting for you.
Well, the future is here. What are you waiting for? Enlist with the Digitech Academy today, not tomorrow, today. If you are just joining us, you're welcome to the technology webinar from the Citadel Global Community Church, powered by the Learning Capacity Development and Integration Unit. Right now, we're about to enter a very scintillating segment, and this is the panel segment. So you want to bring out your notepads. We can see your questions online. Just keep them coming. Trust me, we're going to attend to them as much as we can. Allow me to introduce the panel moderator. He is a multidisciplinary governance and policy expert who co-authored a governance framework for artificial intelligence with the Harvard Kennedy School's Getting Plurality Network, published in AI and Ethics. He initiated Remake Africa, a thought leadership platform through which he researches the geopolitics and governance of technological innovation. He was among 100 plus global co-contributors to the open source GitHub curated book Plurality, The Future of Collaborative Technology and Democracy, co-authored by Taiwan's former digital minister, where he amplified the African voice in global technology discourse. His scholarly focus examines institutional resilience and executive power in the age of exponential technologies, shaping Africa's future positioning. He currently serves as executive director of Citadel School of Government, founded by Dr. Tunde Bakare. Ladies and gentlemen, and to our viewers all around the world, please make welcome, and I'm going to pronounce this very, very correctly, our panel moderator, Mr. Omwaholo Omwahale.
Thank you so much, OJ. I think you did well. You did well with that. It's been a very interesting session thus far. Thank you, OJ, for starting this very well with the first question that you took from YouTube. I think it has set us going. And I am really amazed by the presentation of the keynote speaker. I think I know why. I think of him as when Jeff Bezos wants to find out what's happening in Africa with respect to Amazon, he should be the one that's called, holding such a regionally impactful position and demonstrating it here with that keynote address. Much of my engagement with technology, like OJ read, has been through research, dialogue, ideation, asking difficult questions. But thinkers like me are excited when they meet those who are not just thinkers, but are also doers. That's why I'm so excited about this panel. I am joined by leaders who are building infrastructure, deploying AI, structuring capital, they're scaling fintech platforms, and they're transforming enterprise systems across Africa and the world. They're going to be speaking to everyone in the ecosystem, from the everyday user to the funders, to the builders, to promoters, to talent suppliers, capacity builders, regulators, even watchdogs and more. And so it's my pleasure to introduce our distinguished panel. The first person I'm going to introduce, if you've ever, and I'm talking to the audience, if you've ever used MoneyPoint, perhaps you own a MoneyPoint account or you've paid to MoneyPoint, the person I'm going to introduce now is the one leading the team that makes it happen. So Babatunde Olofin is Managing Director, MoneyPoint Microfinance Bank. Tunde is responsible for the management of the business, operations, and compliance of the bank. Tunde has been with MoneyPoint Group for 3 years. Prior to his current role, he was the Executive Vice President of Cards and Payroll, helping to build the company's card issuing and acquiring infrastructure. Now, prior to MoneyPoint, Tunde served as head of the Digital Innovation Lab at First Bank Nigeria and technology head of business banking and innovation at First City Monument Bank, driving the digital payments roadmap for both organizations, overseeing both the development of mobile consumer and business banking applications and card issuance and management. Tunde holds a master's degree in business information systems from the Tshwane University of Technology, and that's in Pretoria, South Africa. Please, let's welcome Babatunde Olofin. Tunde, you're welcome.
Thank you. I won't try to pronounce your name. Maybe if I have recorded it,
just call me
with some AI technology here, I would have just played it and it will sound exactly my voice in here. Thanks to the leadership of the church as well for bringing me on this platform. And it's my pleasure to contribute to this seminar as well. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Tunde. The next person I'm going to bring up, the first time I saw her was at the Citadel Global Community Church, where she made such an impactful presentation that I had to get up to ask a question and connect her to one of those young persons that I know are doing great things in here. And she has actually taken that young man up and is one way or the other mentoring that young man. That speaks to who this lady is. Lola Adeyemo, popularly known as Lola Ade, is a visionary founder, strategist, and global voice redefining how professionals and organizations embrace artificial intelligence. She is the founder of Piper, an AI-powered planning assistant, helping teams turn ideas into structured, actionable plans. And she's also the founder and CEO of Vibe Code Africa, a thriving movement fueling AI literacy and innovation across Africa and the diaspora. As director of partnerships at AI for Africa think tank and an AI project and portfolio manager for Fortune 500 organizations, Lola bridges vision with execution, turning complex technology into practical strategy and measurable results. She's known for her electric presence. I can testify to that. And deeply interactive sessions. Lola doesn't just speak about AI, she brings it to life. Welcome, Lola. We're glad to have you. Glad to have you back, actually.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's good to be here. Thank you. And I want to say a special thank you to my dad, Pastor Tunde Bakari, for having me here as well.
Thank you. You're welcome, Lola. Thank you. The next person I'm going to bring up is a young man that's in our community here, Citadel Global Community Church, Suru Avose. Suru Avose is an entrepreneur, investor, and business strategist shaping the future of fintech and digital infrastructure across Africa and global markets. He's co-founder of Blue Salt Financial Services Limited, a financial infrastructure company powering payments and banking services for institutions, fintechs, and enterprises. And he is a partner at Chinook Capital Limited, where he invests in and advises high-growth technology ventures. With over a decade of leadership experience spanning private equity, telecommunications, and product innovation, Suru has held senior commercial and investment roles across Africa, the UK, and the United States. His work centers on building scalable solutions that address real-world challenges in emerging markets while advancing access to technology and financial services. Welcome, Suru. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you, Omar. Thank you very much. I also want to thank the Learning Month leadership for creating this space for us to pause and think about future. This is really, really powerful. I also want to thank the church leadership for the vision to invest in this type of conversation. It is commitment not just to faith, but also to excellence, to knowledge, to help us shape the future, even at the present. So I want to thank our serving overseer, the deputy serving overseer, and the entire church leadership. Thank you once again, Omar.
Thank you, Suru. We're glad to have you. And the last, but definitely not the least, you'll agree with me, is the keynote speaker. Kayode Akomolafe. I'm so glad that he's going to be on the panel as well. Of course, OJ has read his captivating and impressive resume. I won't bother to do that anymore. But I will welcome him again. Kayode, welcome again.
Thanks, Amor. Thanks, Amor, and pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that very captivating presentation you just made. It was inspiring, and I'm actually going to start the questions from you. I think I will ask you two questions that will set the tone. You kept saying that this is Africa's moment, and I know that you've engaged countries across Africa in your capacity as regional head of a multinational. Which African countries, most of all, harness the opportunities that you spoke about? I know you mentioned Nigeria. Nigeria has 5 out of the 10 unicorns that you mentioned. You mentioned Kenya, South Africa, Rwanda, and Sierra Leone, I believe. Which one of these countries impresses you the most?
Okay. Which one of these countries impresses me the most? If you ask me, it must be Nigeria, right? And it's not because I'm a Nigerian, right? You've just spoken to the numbers. 5 out of 10 unicorn in Africa, right here in Nigeria. That's huge. Amidst all those challenges, right? When you talk about technology advancement, we're not the most technologically advanced country in Africa. We're not. Maybe we're third or fourth, right, in terms of technology infrastructure. But look at the numbers. So it means we are resilient people. We're smart people. Of course, Nigeria are the most smartest people I've ever worked with, right? Global at the global stage, and that is a reality. Maybe probably I'm one of them, right? So it's Nigeria, because if you look at the challenges and what we have been able to achieve within a short period of time, right? I would say Nigeria is one country that has really impressed me, and that has shown what is possible out of Africa.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's really exciting. It's a good day to be a Nigerian. There are quite a number of questions directed at you by the audience. At some point, we will get to those questions. But before we do that, you also mentioned that in Africa, $192 billion worth of jobs are siphoned. I mean, from Africa. I want you to speak to this. Is this a narrative problem? Is it that the world doesn't understand the African potential, the capacity to get these jobs done? Or is it a question of the skills we lack? And while answering that question, I would like you to speak to the position on the value chain of global technology that Africa really occupies. You've talked about the jobs and all of that. Are we designers? Are we developers? Are we device couplers? Or are we just dirt diggers digging out the minerals that are used to manufacture perhaps the chips and the accessories of these technologies?
Very good question, Omo. Very good question, I must say. So, and we can start from the preaching of the first pastor that preached on the first Sunday, the opening of the learning month, right? It surprised you that King Solomon situated his fleets within a trade route, right? In fact, if you check the rise and fall of empires, it's actually a trade route that is moving around, right? when we were powerful in the West Africa, because the trade route was passing here, it moved to the eastern part there. So it's always the trade route. And that principle has not changed. So the major problem we have in Africa is we are not retaining values, right? Nigeria, largest trade partner, is somewhere in the West or in Asia, not in Africa. South Africa, largest trade partner, is somewhere outside of Africa. So we're not retaining value. We're not trading among ourselves. We're not creating enough trade rules amongst ourselves to keep the value within the African soil. The money is just going out. So we need to do better at that, right? Just to mention that. So that is, and if you look at the detail of those movements, in fact, multinationals are part of it, right? We also take millions of dollars out of Africa to somewhere in Ireland or Spain or in Luxembourg, right? Every year. So that problem we need to solve. The second piece you talk about is are we cobblers, right? We are today, we are consumers at best, right? We are still consuming technology at the lower level, right? We're doing well at the higher level, right? At fintechs, app, and what have you. But if you look at the lower level, the chips that is powering the innovations, right? The zeros and ones level, not the Java, C Sharp, and the program that Babatunde Olofin, right, runs, right? Not at that level. At the lower level, at that, where's it consuming? But the good thing is, African are also seeing that, right? I've met a couple of senior colleagues that are already thinking around that. In fact, there is already a factory somewhere, it's in Uganda or somewhere in the East Africa, that are already manufacturing phones. And we're not saying coupling phones, manufacturing phones, right? Which is manufacturing the microchips, right? That is powering the phone, because that is the fabric, right, of this digital age that we're talking about. Then I also mentioned earlier, almost 50% of the world data center is in the United States. So we also don't have enough data centers in Africa and in Nigeria as an extension. In fact, to put it mildly, we're not digital enough. In fact, Ghana is more digital than Nigeria, right? And if you want to see how digital a country is, you start from their public sector, start from their government, see how digital their government is, see how many services you can consume digitally, right? And when you begin to see that, right, most of those illicit funds begin to dissipate, begin to disappear, because the more we automate, the more we reduce human interference with our processes, with the services, the better outcome we're going to get, right? So we also need to drive digitization, and we're already doing that. And that is why sometimes I don't want to be too futuristic. Our Minister for Technology and Digital Innovation, Bosun, is already doing a lot of work around that. It's only that I was seeing somebody's posting, was it yesterday ago, was like they were like abusing him, right? That's not doing anything, they're not seeing it. Because what he's doing, they're not seeing it. This guy is laying fiber, right? Partnership across the country. That is what he's doing. We're not seeing it. And because we're not seeing it, we thought he's just flapping around in Abuja, it's not working. No, it's working. It's building digital skills. It's building infrastructures. It's helping us to digitize government. There is a lot of work, a lot of things that it's doing. That is what we need to do, things that are not seen, right? So the more we focus on that, the more, right, we will be able to take a better share of the.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's take it up from there and begin to talk about what is actually working, like you hinted. And I will be directing the next question to Babatunde Olofin, who has made quite an impression. His company, MoneyPoint, payments infrastructure that they've put out there. Can you speak to what where technology in Africa is already delivering better outcomes for users than in mature markets? Like I said, your company is an example. There's M-Pesa in Kenya, for instance, where we hear that they actually invented mobile money. Can you speak to this? What your industry has done? Tell the story.
Thank you very much, moderator. And it's nice seeing my friend again, Kayode Komolafe. It's been a while. Good to see you. Let me start by saying that, while I agree that technology infrastructure is still, a bit expensive and also lacking in some part of Africa. I mean, today, if you get to some part of Nigeria, you will hardly find payment or banking infrastructure, especially in rural areas or in areas that are, prone to insecurity and maybe like Boko Haram invasion and the likes. But still, we cannot undermine what we have achieved in Africa through technology. A typical example is that instant payment, for example, which was developed by our own NIPS in Nigeria, that's Nigeria Interbank Settlement Scheme, happens to be the first even before you have such payment in the likes of US, UK, or Europe, right? And this is because there are so many problems in Africa to be solved, and the bandwidth of resources that we have is not so endless, right? So what happened in Africa is that we quickly developed solutions to our most, needed problems, right? And how NIPS came, which happens to be, the instant payment. What I mean by instant payment is when you transfer money from one bank to another, and the money gets there immediately, right? We had to solve this problem because this problem emanated from problem of poverty, where when you send money to somebody in another bank, the person cannot wait for settlement to happen because he needs that money immediately. And this is as a result of poverty because we don't have so much money. So somebody that is sending you money is sending out of the little he has, and you are waiting for the money. You need to receive the money immediately to solve your problem, right? And out of that problem of poverty, right, Nigeria developed, that instant payment, which the Western world are also learning from us today. I've had several meetings with the leadership of NIPS where, I saw videos and records of Western world coming to Nigeria to come and learn what Nigeria did in instant payment. So we may not have all the technologies, we may not be participating or deploying all the possible technologies, but we develop technology that solves our immediate problems. And that's why, when Kayode was talking about we don't have so much of people, building things like, mobile phone infrastructure or factory, it is because the problems we have are so much than that at the immediate. For example, we need to start building, even we have achieved a lot in payment infrastructure. Yes, you can send money to somewhere and it gets there immediately. Yeah, the Western world are learning from us, but we also need such, infrastructure or technology to be developed in agriculture, where we can grow things, faster than what we have now and solve our food insecurity problems. Right. So we may not be doing a lot in other infrastructure, but it's just that we are not, we can't afford to be wasteful in terms of technology deployment and implementation. And that is why today we deploy things, or we develop things, or we solve problems that are immediately impacting our lives in Africa.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's an interesting debate. I would want to see that debate between Young and Kayode, and to see the diverse perspectives and where you harmonize. Meanwhile, for the audience listening to us on YouTube, I would want you to do something. Just post on the YouTube chats the most interesting thing you've done with AI. Just let us know. At some point, we'll get to that and see. And if you haven't used AI, you don't know what AI is about, you can as well put it there, and we'll know how to answer your questions. I think my next question now I will direct to Suru. Suru has been involved in the industry across Africa, in the US and the UK. And you therefore know the comparative strengths of the continents. Which infrastructure gaps do you think limit people's access to technology today? That's a debate that's brewing between Kayode and Tunde, but I want you to speak to it. What is the state of the infrastructure constraints, and how have African innovators responded to this? Which ones have pushed African innovators to design smarter solutions?
Thank you, Omo. I think technology is not just for technology domain alone. Technology comes live and it becomes that step function for productivity if we apply it to different areas in transportation, in healthcare, in agriculture, like Babatunde said, in legal system, in also transforming government services. So the base of how technology get applied is how we can feel and use it. And if you look at us from the debate of where are the gaps in Africa, I think Kayode pointed out the gaps. You see, the countries who build infrastructure, who build infrastructure, invest into human capital development, and set the regulatory framework, they tend to capture long-term value. And if you look at that, that is happening right now in the stack of AI, where in Africa, we are more focused on the top layer, which is the application layer, or second to the application layer. We're using ChatGPT, we're using Gemini, we're using Claude. But the Western world are busy investing trillions of dollars into the stack, the infrastructure layer. And what are these infrastructure layers? If we to take AI, for instance, you have the energy sector. Globally, it's been agreed that we don't have enough power we don't have enough energy to power the tokens that is required for AI consumption. So the Western world are investing into that. They are obviously going to capture the long-term value. If you look at the next layer, which is the chip area, we are not investing into that area in Africa at all when it comes to what NVIDIA, what all the microchip industries are doing. Africa is far, far, far away from that. So we have left that area, and the Western world are investing massively into that area. And if you look at the cloud computing, which I think Kayode also mentioned when it comes to cloud infrastructure, data center, trillions or hundreds of billions of dollars are being invested into that, and Africa is not in that pool at all. So we do have some private sector who are trying to invest into that area. We think if you look at what telcos are doing, especially two biggest telcos in the country, they are trying to invest into, they are spending like hundreds of millions of dollars in that space. But we haven't even solved all our energy problems. So when you look at how Africa operates, we tend to operate most at the area that are faster. Yes, it's good. It gives us that value. It gives us that that immediate solution to our problems, but we intend to move away from the foundation. And the foundation are what the global south or the Western countries and even the emerging countries like China, etc., are taking advantage of, that they export to every other market. So I think in the area of gaps that we need to bridge is more of the foundational issues like infrastructure, the foundational issue like human capital development, and also the regulatory framework that need to create environment for this technology to thrive, for if FDI, foreign investment, to come after them. But you see, in the area of Africa, we also cannot replicate such because we need to solve our immediate problems. So what Babatunde said when it comes to let's solve our payment solution. And if we look at how we solve our mobile broadband.
Hello, Suru. Hello, Suru. Are you still there? I think we will proceed. It appeared that Suru had a challenge, but it's obvious he's reiterating some of the things that Kaede actually said. Talking about regulation, the need for data centers, infrastructure, and it's interesting. Suru mentioned power, and one will say that power again, even when we're talking about tech, the same power challenge that stops or hinders, as it were, the trader, the businessman, the tailor, the grinder. That same power shortage is what is one of the infrastructure gaps hindering AI. We'll come back to Suru later, and he will continue this conversation. Now let's go to Lola, and let's talk about talent, because I know she builds talents. What skills and mindsets do you think will matter most for Africa in the next decade? Kennedy talks about 35 years, $1 trillion prospect. What are the skills that you think Africans, those young people listening to this, even the not too young who want to catch up, what skills do you think they need to acquire in terms of specifics in your engagement with young people, with older people? What skills do you think are most important if Africa is to achieve this vision that Kayode set, as it were, or
Thank you, sir. I want to first of all salute my fellow panelists. These are powerhouses. I am honored to be on the same panel with you, Mr. Babatunde Olofin, Mr. Kayode Komolafe, Mr. Suru. It's great to be on the same panel with you, and also to the organizers of this event. So now to your question. The very first thing that I have noticed is that there is this mindset, which is not our fault. And this is not just an African thing. I think this is something that almost everyone in the world has. So there is something that we know as what is possible. We understand based on our skills, based on, what has been before. If you go to school, you get a certain degree, and that is the degree that you flourish in. If, God being good, you do something good in school, right? You don't go and learn, something that is not interpreted or something you cannot translate in the workforce. However, today, with the introduction of artificial intelligence, there is so much that has been lifted from the space of impossible to possible. I myself am an example of that. As you read my bio, my background professionally is in project management. So what am I doing here in this space of artificial intelligence? I was able to commit myself to a time of study, and I was able to play with these tools, or to explore these tools out of curiosity. What can this tool do for me? How can this tool improve something that I've been working on? They say that artificial intelligence gives speed. They say artificial intelligence can transform. Well, here is one pain I have been experiencing in my work life. Here is one pain I've been experiencing when I'm planning my year, when I'm planning my quarter. How can AI actually help me so I can see the benefit for myself? And once I saw that, that was what led to the building of my app. Once I saw that, everything else opened. I could literally see how much that we have termed impossible is now possible. I could build a board of directors from people that I would never be able to meet one-on-one. I could build a board of directors with Elon Musk and Dangote and, all these kind of people using Chat GPT. So I want to say that when you talk about the skills, first of all, I'm addressing the mindset. So the mindset that we need to change is what we have tagged impossible. I can't build a business because I don't know about how I need financial advice. I can't do this because I need that. There is so much now that is possible with the power of AI. Now, when it comes to skills, let your curiosity lead and always apply. I'm a very practical, when I talk, I'm talking about application. So always apply AI to something that you can do, to something that you're currently doing. A lot of young people right now, you're either in school studying something or you already have a specialty. I would say, instead of trying to brush all of that aside, find how AI fits in your specialty. And if you're still in the process of learning, then learn something that you're interested in, but find a way that you can amplify it with AI.
Thank you so much, Lola. That's interesting. Mindset first. And that reminds me of what Kayode said, that Africans, we are mainly consumers. Consumption is what we do instead of developing mainly. It's a mindset thing. It reminds me of a speech that Dr. Tunde Bakari made, I think in 2016, the case for a new Nigeria, where he highlighted the behavioral patterns that have kept us where we are. From what I hear you saying, Lola, what I hear Kayode saying, what I even hear Sue saying, what I hear Tunde saying, we need to activate a new paradigm if we want to fully grasp the potential that we're talking about. Yes, I had asked the audience to tell us the amazing things they do with AI. Oluwatoyin Ojo says, I have used AI severally to synthesize my thoughts, brainstorm on ideas, prepare frameworks for projects, do literature review, eliminate redundancy in documents, and fine-tune submissions, etc. That's amazing. Please, if you're there on YouTube, just show some love to Oluwatoyin Ojo, because what she's saying is actually accurate. There's so much that we can do with AI. So if you are not already using these tools, this is meant to show you how. We will now go to the next question. We'll go back to Kayode. You spoke about data centers, the challenges, and I guess you might even want to respond to Tunde. Even though I know that you balanced it, you presented the potential, you presented the challenges, you might want to speak to that. But while doing that, can you speak more to this issue with data center development and the challenges with the socioeconomic implication of huge data centers that you hinted at while you were speaking?
Thanks, Omo. So, yeah, of course, today is a friend of so many years, so we're just sharing perspective. Today is right, if you ask me. It's right. We've done a lot. And my point is not to diminish what we've done as Africa. My point is just that we can't continue to do the same thing in the same way and expect different results. I don't like a scenario of being reactive to challenges. I want to be proactive, right? What we're doing is we're reactive, which we're solving our current problem. So we're always fighting fires. So as we're doing that, we also need to be looking at proactive. So that, as my other speakers say, we can capture long-term value, because that is where the real value is. You see, where we are doing the reactive, if we are just capturing 10% of what we're supposed to capture, we're overlooking on the 9. That is failure. 10% is less than F9. So that is the way I'm looking at it. And that is not diminishing the fact that we've done a lot. I actually said, we have 5 unicorn out of 10. Out of this chaotic situation we have, that's huge. That's a lot. So that is what I would say about that. So I think Babadida and I are like on that perspective. On the data center piece, so data center comes with energy, right? So it's part of the investment. So globally, it takes about $2 billion for multinationals, $2 billion to build a real data center, right? That can run real workloads. And I'm not talking of colocation centers, right? I was talking to one of the doyen of colocation in Nigeria, I think last year. I was in a breakfast with him, with her. And I put the question to her that I'm really disappointed that we've been running data centers, colocation in Nigeria for maybe 10 years or more. And all we can do is just offer rack and other virtual machines to, why can't we invest in R&D and begin to churn out cloud services, like the multinational that I worked for more than 1.5 decades? And the answer was very clear. You can't compete with the big guys, right? So, and I agree with that because you don't have the deep pocket. So the best is to partner with them. So if you ask me, I would love to see government of the leaders of Africa, having frank conversation with Google, with Microsoft, with AWS, with UOE, in terms of real partnership. That is what you see happening within the Middle East. You can see them. Middle East, they just spinning up data centers, left, right, left, and center, right? Because the government are meeting, right, the leadership, and they're having a long-term conversation, and they bring the investments. Because look, colocation is not the kind of data center that is going to power the next tech. It's the kind of data center is what my other presenter, forgotten his name, mentioned earlier, right? Data center for the future. That is what we need to be building. Those that we have today, right? The access to it is still at the upper level. We need to democratize technology in such a way that that boy that is in secondary school in Sokoto, in Maiduguri, close to Sambisa Forest, can spin up his services with his lunch money, can just save his lunch money for 2 or 3 days and spin up the services and start innovating. Until we get there, we're still scratching the surface. That is what the Western world have done. They democratize access to those innovation platforms. So, at a very large scale, students can now begin to innovate on top of it. So by the time they play with the 5-10 years, by the time they are graduating, they already have solutions that they are eating the world with. So for me, it's 2 things. A government need to be very intentional. I need to think long term. And 2, our billionaires need us to realize that tech is fundamental, foundational to the next growth. It has already been said that the next set of billionaires, even in Nigeria, are going to be tech. I'm sure more you're going to be one of it, right? So that is the only way to do that. We need to make sure government is doing the right thing. Our investors are also doing the right thing and putting money to really build real data center by partnership. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And I say amen to that statement you made. I'm going to be one of the billionaires, and you in the audience too. Don't rule yourself out. Yes, people have been putting up what they've been doing with AI. Whispers soft me for you. That's your name. That's the name you put out there. It says, I have leveraged AI tools to create professional media content, including commercials and brand mock-ups, in a bid to demonstrate how emerging technology is transforming corporate communications. And then Emmanuel Johnson says, for me, it has to be using it to learn faster and majorly solve technical problems in networking and CS, because I can experiment and be guided instantly. And then IBK at Ibukun says, I used AI to write a book recently. Wow. That takes me to the question of ethics. And I would want Lola to step in and speak to this. I was going to ask Tunde the next question, but Ibukun's statement just made this necessary. Using AI to write a book, there's a debate, especially in Nigeria, as to the limits to the use of AI for intellectual work. Speak to it.
Okay. Let me use this example. We all know Chinua Achebe, one of my favorites now, Chimamanda. She has decades of experience in writing. If Chimamanda decides to write a book with AI today, you will still feel Chimamanda in the book, because the interaction with AI is not going to be ChatGPT, write me a book. There's going to be so much of her that the only work that AI is probably going to do is maybe she's dictating the book and AI is writing it so that she doesn't have to spend time typing. Now, if I want to write a book, having written only one book that was even co-authored with 32 other people, would I then ask ChatGPT or Claude to just write the book for me? How much material do I even have on the internet for Claude or ChatGPT or whatever AI? Maybe there's a specialized book writing AI now, I'm sure there is, to give me, to write for me. So at the end of the day, you are not putting out your own knowledge. You are scouring the internet, and the AIs that we're talking about, the models that we're talking about, were trained on other people's data. So basically, what you are doing is you are regurgitating what others have written, what others have said, and you are brandishing it out to the world. And then comes the problem of ethics, because almost in everything that we see, and with AI, is even more, it's even, I think, more even special, because there isn't, law is always trying to catch up. Even with tech, like before AI became as widespread as it is today, we have the problem of cybersecurity, where there's already the bad actors are already years and ahead and light ahead of the good actors who are trying to reframe this thing. So you would need to ask yourself in that moment, how much of me did I put in this book? And I'm sorry to pick on your example, but I would just say that if you are going to write a book or even do anything, let's not even talk about a book. Let's talk about your resume. Let's talk about anything that you're going to put out there, that you're going to put your name on. You're building a deck. You cannot just pull the information from AI. So let me tell you what to do. Instead of just doing that, I use the dictate feature a lot, right? If you look at ChatGPT, on the chat box there, you will see a little mic. That mic, click on that mic. That mic is your best friend. So I use that mic so that I can brain dump everything that is in my head. So if I was going to write a book with AI, I would basically brain dump everything that I know about the topic I want to write about. And then I will ask AI to ask me 5 or 10 questions so that I can give my answers, and then it can write, from those answers. So that's one hack, right? There's also, I think somebody talked about learning faster with AI, and I wanted to say something about that. There's a tool called, I'll just quickly say this, there's a tool called Notebook LM by Google. I believe that tool is amazing for learning, because you can pull, let's say you had handouts, you can attach your handouts. Notebook LM will not pull from the internet. It will only pull from your handouts, and to be able to generate an AI generated podcast, AI generated slide deck that you can actually use to retain your knowledge.
Thank you so much, Lola. That's interesting, helping us to balance that perspective. Someone called it man-machine synthesis. Let's see how well we're able to use these tools ethically. I will bring Tunde up now. The question of trust. People not fully integrating into the use of technology because of this question of trust. But Tunde, you're leading a company that is a unicorn, where people use your product and it's about their money. What have you done to earn the trust of Nigerians, and what should developers out there do to not just Nigerians, Africans, to bridge this trust gap? And when you answer that question, if you can speak to it, though I'm going to eventually direct it to Sue as well, but if you can't speak to it, there's this debate currently ongoing about civic tech and democracy, about electronic transmission of results. It's still this question of trust. If you could speak to that too, that would be fine. But start by what you did, what your company did, what developers out there should do to earn the trust of users. Tunde?
Can you hear me?
Tunde still on the call? Yes, he is.
Yes, I am. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. There is a saying that we usually sound in the office, that success of a product is when your user can wake up in the morning without thinking twice and going straight to use your product, believing, not even believing, knowing in them that that service will be available, meaning that it always work. Right. It's not like going to, before, if I say like, let's say 7 years ago, people go to the ATMs, and when they are going to the ATMs, they are going with prayers in their mind that, oh, I have spent this amount of money from where I live, maybe using bike to get to the ATM machine, and they are praying that the ATM machine should just work and they should be able to have service and get some money out of it. Now, if your users have doubts in their mind as they are approaching your service that it may not work, then you have broken that trust. And meaning that the next time they have another option that they feel will work better than your product, they will not bother checking your product first. So if your product is not always accessible, meaning that they don't have to struggle to access your product, right? And if your product is not always available, meaning that they have doubt in their minds that this service may not work if I want to use it. And finally, if it's not affordable for them, then you do not have a product or you do not have a solution. And that's the game changer for us at MoneyPoint. What we have built is a solution to Africans' problem. But apart from building that solution, we have also made sure that the solution is affordable. Before now, years ago, when you go to the ATM to withdraw, they will charge you 100 naira service charge or service fee when you are withdrawing 10,000 naira. Now, immediately we came on with our financial inclusion product where you have man machines, whom we call agent today, and you can go to the agent and the agent gives you money, swipe your card, it goes, you get debited, and the agent counts money and gives you the money almost immediately. Of course, an agent cannot tell you unable to dispense. When you are seeing the guy, then you will beat the hell out of the guy and get your money out of it, right? So the trust is there because I know that approaching this guy, right, swiping my card, I will get debited, right, which is part of the service I've gone there for, and the guy gives me the money. So the trust is there, right? That's one, that the product is accessible. I don't have to travel far. That it will work means that the product is always available. And the affordability is now what we have also done in the industry. And when the commercial banks saw that, when you go to the ATM, they charge 100 naira, but when you go to a POS, it charges like 15 naira, charge you less, right? Comparing to, adding together the cost of traveling and everything, it is cheaper for them to do that, right? It became a household name and a household product in the country. And that was how we were able to win the minds of Nigerians. Right. So trust comes with those three things. Your product must be available, must be accessible, and must be affordable. You have a product that way, then you have won the minds of your users. Now, on the debate, I'm not sure I am in the right, or if I am, I'm trying to choose my words now. If I am the right person to debate that because of my position and because of my industry. But anywhere you can apply technology, technology will always give you transparency, and it will also always be available. I mean, you can get to, for example, a polling booth and maybe papers are not available to vote and something. But if it is done electronically, maybe it can improve the ability of people to have access to quickly cast their mandates and things like that. But technology can do a lot in anything you apply it to. So let me just leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Babatunde. I understand your discretion in that regard, but you've said it already. Technology, if applied, anywhere technology can be applied, it should be applied. It will make things easier. And what you said about trust, the three A's, as it were, of trust: availability, accessibility, affordability. So if you're out there, you're building a product and you want to scale, and your concern is whether it will be received and accepted by the consumers, Babatunde has given you 3 A's to go by. And that's: your product has to be available, it has to be accessible, it has to be affordable. We'll bring Suru back up now. I believe Suru is on board. He's returned. Suru, yes, I said I would direct the question to you. Just speak to it. The use of technology, civic tech. Countries are doing amazing things with civic tech. It's not just even elections. A country like Taiwan, for instance, these are people-led technologies that have transformed their countries. What can Nigerian young people do with technology? I know you to be someone who is interested in nation building in the civic space. What can technology do in the civic space in Nigeria?
Thank you, and sorry for the internet glitch that I had earlier on. But just to conclude on that side before I address what we can do, what I think and what I see and what we have practically achieved as a country or in our continent is that we deploy technology to solve our immediate problem, which has helped us in how we have leveraged the banking infrastructure that we built, which fintech latch on to now be able to do the amazing thing that the fintechs are doing. We've been able to also leverage on, rather than laying fibers at the initial stage, leverage on the affordable technology like GSM, wireless technology, and that has helped us accelerate how we've been able to put mobile phone in the hands of everyone. A combination of how we depend locally in solving our problem had helped us kind of leapfrog technology to things that even people that are investing in infrastructure, etc., are now coming to learn, like the instant payment system, how technology is in the hands of everyone, how fintech is like helping us achieve the unicorns that we have. So in balancing the equation, we decided to choose our path. Nonetheless, we still need to come back and lay the foundation for things that can help us scale, which I think is what Kayode talked about, what the Minister of current Minister of Information or Communication and Innovation is doing in ensuring that he partner with telecom, etc., to lay foundation for fiber, because those things cannot be missing in the equation for our growth. In now talking about trust, what we can do in the civic space, I think we've seen it all over the world, either in the global south, Western world, either in the Asia, etc. We've seen what technology can do when it comes to government services. Is it about election? Is it about government, public services? I think technology can do so many things. And if we even take the area of election election that we're talking about, if you look at how the last election was conducted, it was a bit of technology. And then when it comes to things that our constitution does not support, that we just use as guidelines, electoral guidelines, those were the things that we could not apply in the way that the election was conducted. So today, for vetting and ensuring that you have your voter's card is vetted and you as a person is vetted, we are using technology for that. And I think it has come to stay, and we are not going to walk away from that. I think things that we need to address, which I think that we need to look at in details, is how do we use it in the area of completion, collation, etc. And I think if government can deploy that, just as we have seen in the area of how government is using technology in TSA, how it helps us consolidate all the government collections into one central bucket. I think if we can apply that end-to-end in the area of election, I think it's going to help us a lot. So it's not that the technology and the infrastructure to do all the public services are not here. What we don't have is the government willingness to be able to latch on this technology to help accelerate the to help accelerate how it can transform our national public service. And I think that's the area that public policy, the area of reasoning and capacity development within the government sector itself is required for us to be able to earn the trust that is required. That is on the civil space. But if you look at AI space when it comes to trust, I think for us in Bluesoft, for instance, we do use AI a lot, especially in the development. But beginning of this year, we said something. We said for some of our intellectual property, we have to own in-house infrastructure, LLM, that can help us keep our intelligence, business intelligence, from things like ChatGPT or Claude, because you can't really control that space. And that is the way global, even the hyperscaler, that is the way they are using technology as well. There are some things you have to keep in-house, and there are some things you have to leverage on the public space available infrastructures to use. So trust with respect to civil space, trust with respect to how you should deploy technology, and trust with respect to what customers also need. I think it's all about how company position themselves and how nation position themselves to take advantage of the benefit of technology.
Right. Thank you so much, Cyril. That was very insightful. It just buttresses the fact that everything that we're talking about boils down to governance in the end. It reminds me of a debate that I was once engaged in somewhere, and I took the position that Nigeria's tech industry has risen in spite of, not because of, government. If you look at the unicorns from Flutterwave to Andela to Moneypoint and the likes, they emerged at that time, not necessarily because of government infrastructure, but because of their innovation. But we are happy now, like Hayode said, the current digital minister and even those before him are catching up. Lola said so too. It's like regulation, the law catches up with technology. So young people out there, don't wait for things to happen to you. Innovate and let things happen because of you. And I'm saying that because there's a group of young people, a very important set of people that we need to now go and hear from. It's important to hear from them because these young people, they are the future. The future of Africa that we're talking about, they're the ones that will live it. They're the ones that will build it. They're the ones that will inherit the consequences. And I believe for good, not for ill. We will now go live to the Legacy Youth Fellowship, where young people are gathered with OJ, my co-moderator, and we're going to feel the pulse of the streets, as it were. How are these people taking the program so far? I believe they are excited. I want to know what they've learned. I want to know what they are dreaming of. I want to know the new ideas that these young people want to unleash. OJ, I can see you. I can see you, OJ.
Beautiful panel segment. I mean, you could see what was going on here. The youth are just so excited. Are we excited? Okay, so very quickly, we're going to take feedback from two of them, and then we're going to bring it back to you. All right, your name?
Okay, my name is Akinlolua.
All right, so what is your feedback? What have you learned from this session?
I think the major takeaway from today's session would be the fact that AI is very useful to facilitate your general duties, either as a career person, as a home builder, or as a nation builder, as we've discussed so far. I mean, I was having a discussion with Toby and Eniola a while back, and the discussion surrounded the fact that AI shouldn't replace your duties or replace your intellectual capacity, but support what it is you're going to do. Plus, like the speakers rounded up saying, and we still had a little bit of that round table discussion a few minutes back, the fact that there's also the legal aspect of AI. When Mr. Omar was asking, I think it was Miss Lola, I guess.
Yeah.
And he asked her the question as regards when the intellectual property question as to generating your book off of AI. And our response was apt in the sense that AI doesn't take away, should I say, the soul of the person that is asking the questions. Generally, your input is what determines the output, essentially. But my own addition to that would be the fact that while that is correct, the question now shifts to the intellectual property, the intellectual property law or legal aspect of everything, as the case might be. So our discussion would now move away from, okay, is your output, your input determining your output, or the fact that your soul as a writer or your soul as a creator, as the case might be, doesn't change. But bearing in mind that AI generates what it generates off of everything that is on the internet. Now, the copyright question, the trademark question, the patent question of everything.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much. You see, in the youth church here, we have great minds, highly cerebral people, and he's also a lawyer. I mean, we're having banter, weren't we, about the legal end to things. And we also have the youth president over here. You have a feedback you'd like to give?
Sure.
In about 1 minute.
That's fine. I'm seeing the timing. So me personally, I think the session, from the very first session, was very insightful. One of the things I kind of focused on was AI in agriculture. And it's something, I know it's not really what we're focusing on this panel session, but then when the first speaker came up, that's what I stuck with. And I've been trying to fit all the different parts into this current conversation. How can we make AI specific for agriculture? Because now, he mentioned we needed policies that work for us. We needed to make the solutions very specific. Like, it has to be precise solutions, especially in Nigeria, because you cannot build an Android application for a farmer. He's using a feature phone. How do
you can't build an Android application for a farmer, okay?
Because he's not using an Android phone. He's using a feature phone, Balasa. He's using Balasa. Those things, how do you want to work those things into, like, how it's supposed to make sense? The farmers have large expanses of land. What is the communication gap? Like, how do you fill that gap?
So how do you feel that communication gap? Omar, we gave you feedback and we did leave a little bit of a question there, and maybe even 2 questions. Over to you, Omar.
OJ, thank you so much. That was just so amazing, OJ. I can feel the excitement in that place. And yes, the Legacy Youth President left a bit of a question, which I think Kaide should answer that. He spoke to agriculture as a use case, and the youth president is saying that our farmers here, they have Balasa phones. So how can you build a solution for them? Is that so, Kaede? Kaede?
So, yeah, and I love that. That's a very good question. And my answer to the youth president is What do you think? That's a problem for you to solve. Because that problem has already been solved today. Let me give you an example with Palace phone, right? And so, because what the end user, the farmer, will be doing is they are consuming content. What they just need is, when do I need to plant? When do I water? When do I apply insecticide? Right? So all of that, they don't need a smartphone for it. So the way it's being implemented today is, so there is a drone that is studying everything, the weather, and it's just sending an SMS, right? That plant to plant cassava or yam in January between this date and this date. So that's all that is in there, because information, when you hear information is power, it is. Because planting cassava in a particular part of the month determine the yield eventually, right? When you apply the fertilizer, when you water, and all of that. So all the farmer needs is just the Palace phone, and it's fine. They just get the SMS. Once they act on it, they're fine. So that's a use case. The app is built, the model is there, it's churning out information and disseminating it to the farmer. And the farmer is acting. Then you also have human in the loop that are following through to ensure that they're doing it. You can even call them, follow up. So again, that's already been solved today, really. But what my challenge I will give out to the youth pastor is, don't just think of questions. Always have an answer. You must. Because that energy that you have, you need it to rightly challenge it, to channel it, to be one of the billionaires in dollars that Nigeria will make, right? Within the next few years. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kayode. And just to buttress your point, I'll advise the youth president and everyone who is interested to go study the wallet system that was used during the tenure of the former Minister of Agriculture, Kayode Adeshina, in supplying fertilizer. So it's actually being tried in Nigeria. Check out how it was done. And let's see, like Kayode said, how we can build on those solutions. We will be rounding off this panel session, but before we do so, I want to give each panelist 30 seconds or thereabout to speak to a young person out there who is building something or who has a dream and is wondering how to bring it to life in this digital age. And also to the older person who, or not too young person who thinks that time is out for them. I want you to end this session by giving hope. Let's start with Tunde.
Okay. Let me take part of my 30 seconds to quickly address the youth leader as well. I think problems should be addressed from the root cause of the problem. Why are farmers using Palace phone? It is because it is cheap and it's affordable for them. That's it. It's not that they want Palace phone. Now, today, if you are in China, if you are not importing phones and you buy a phone, you can buy a phone of $10 in China, which is 15,000 naira, which is about the cost of a Palace phone, and it will be Android enabled. So what we need in the country is a policy, right, where government have intergovernment relationship with Chinese, and you say all Android phones that are below these particular settings that can still be used for, whatever we want to use them for inclusion, comes without duties. And that will definitely democratize and make, Android phone extremely cheap. We cannot do, and the youth leader is right, you cannot do the kind of technologies you want to implement in any sector with a Palace phone. For example, if the farmer plants and the plants are not growing well, right, we can have a platform or an AI-enabled platform where you just take a picture of the plant and the Android phone or whatever system or the AI we are using scan the plant, knows what is wrong with that plant, and advise the farmer on what to do. Mix salt and water together for 7 days and pour it on the soil where this thing is being planted. And the whole dynamics will change. Right. So some of these things, right, we need to tackle it from the root cause of the problem itself. Look at the root cause of the problem. And for youth, when you are solving a problem, look at what is the cause of the problem and solve it. Don't just solve it on the surface. right? So that would be my response to that. But in general, I'm not going to be addressing only youth. We are going to address all of us. Honestly, if we have to change the narrative, it has to be an inclusive effort. Government must be heavily and extremely involved. Private sectors must be heavily and be involved as well. Our schools must be involved. We ourselves as youth must be ready to invest our time to learn, right? Give our learning as our own resources, right? And we must all be honest with this change of lifestyle in using technology to better our life and bring transparency into Africa generally. Thank you.
Thank you. Look at the bottom of the problem. Thank you. Lola, I would want you to round off by responding to the same question. You are used to giving hope. Give these Africans hope.
That is probably the best thing I've heard this month, that I am used to giving hope, and I hope that I will continue to be known for that. I would say this, and I think Mr. Kayode said it. When there's a problem, look inward for a solution. God has made us as solutions to problems. When we talk about, and I do agree with Mr. Babatunde Olofin that the government needs to be heavily involved. But in my opinion, and you would never have caught me maybe 2 years ago in a conversation like this, because even though I was pained about the situation in Nigeria and Africa, I didn't know what to do, so I wouldn't even say anything. But the moment I realized what to do, I pulled together the community around me and we started working. So to every young person out there, or to everybody out there is a problem you're staring at. There is absolutely no, especially as Nigerians, we know nobody's going to solve it for you. So take the resources that you have. Today with AI, you can do so much more than you could have done in the last 5 years. Take the resources that you have. The Bible says in Exodus chapter 4, verse 2, what is that in your hand? That's what God asked Moses. Moses had just a rod, and that rod was the only thing the Israelites needed to cross to their freedom. So take what you have in your hand. Young people, older people, your Palasa phone, your Android, your iPhone 17, take what you have in your hand, find a problem that you can solve, and you be the one, you be the change you want to see. Like I said, I have, a community where we are basically, Mr. Tunde mentioned something. I'm like, we're probably going to build that solution if that is not built, where you can use your phone to figure out if a plant is sick or not. That's something that you can use AI to do. So it's like there's space now. There are tools now. Take those tools, look for a problem in your community. Don't wait for the government. God will help them. Be the one that God makes the solution to your community. Thank you.
Wow. Be the one that God makes the solution to your community. Thank you so much, Lola. I believe someone has taken that and is running with it. Suru, give these Africans, whether young or old, a word of hope in this digital age.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, brilliant. I think the future of technology in Africa is going to be determined by how we apply it in solving Africa problems. And that problem need to be solved by African in such a way that once it is well utilized internally, we can scale. So technology, we heard about the Palasa phone, and I think I agree with what Babatunde said, that we have to be determined in a way that we have to deploy technology that can help us accelerate adoption of things that can help our people, especially farmers, for instance, to be productive. But what I think that we all need in terms of Africa is that the demographic strength is clear, like Kayode said and presented to us. Our entrepreneurial energy is also clear. Our ambition as well is clear. That's why we can have 5 out of 10 unicorn in Africa. But technology is going through a ramp. It's a step function. It's unbelievable, something that is bringing breakthrough to all of us. and it is accelerating businesses, it is accelerating public sector, it is accelerating how we do things. And all of us need to key into it. Either we are a student, or we are professional, we are policymaker, we are, regardless of our status, we all need to leverage on technology in such a way that it can help us achieve better results. Because if we don't upgrade, we will only remain in where we are. And I want to remind of us what our Bible said in Colossians 2:23, that said that whatever we do, we must do it in such a way that we work it with all our heart. And in a technology-driven world, that means that excellence is not an option, it is foundational. It is foundational in such a way that the digital world requires excellence for us to harvest the long-time value that are available to us. From Kayode's presentation, he said 15.9 or 15.7 trillion opportunity available. 192 billion value are being taken away from Africa. I think we have the population, we have the talent, and if we can develop, if we can harness it, and if we can have government investing into the infrastructure, I think this will become what will amplify the value that we can harness as individuals. Technology always amplifies, and I think we also need to make sure that our values are amplified to harness those opportunities. Thank you.
Inspiring too. Thank you so much for giving us that charge. We started with Kayode Akumolafe, and he was inspiring in his presentation. We will go back to him to be the last speaker to speak, to leave us on that inspiring note again. Yes, he talked about the challenges and the opportunities. Give us hope. You spoke about the possibility of Africa uniting to address its challenges. That was really inspiring. Speak to Africa. Give this continent hope in 30 seconds as you round off.
Thank you, Omar. So Africa is your time. The time is now. I think my co-panelists have given the charge. What I would just add to it really is, the Bible says, we want to build a house, right? We want to take over a city without first of all sitting down, count the costs, right? Whether it's going to be able to build it. The question I will pose back to all of us is, we are the Africans, each and every one of us. And we all need to sit down and have a plan, a digital plan. What do you want to achieve digitally in the next 3 to 5 years? Clear plan. And amidst your plan, ask yourself, whether young, old, what are my superpowers? We all have superpowers, right? What are things that you are good at? You must know them. Mix that up with your deep thinking. Thinking is a work. You need to sit down and think and build that plan, that digital plan. How can I improve my current business? How can I be in the top percentile of my career? Whatever it is that you do, and execute on it. It is the aggregation of all those executions that is going to deliver the desired results that Africans need. That will be my charge, and I will stop you there.
Wow. Thank you so much. It's been a really inspiring session. From Kayode Akumolafe to Babatunde Olofin to Lola Ademo to Suru Avose, we've been inspired. And even the young people that we went to the streets, as it were, the Legacy Youth Fellowship, their contributions too have been really challenging, and they've gotten us to think. So it's been a wonderful panel. Thank you, panelists. We truly appreciate you. You will not go without the Father's blessing. And that's not just for the panelists, but also for the audience watching on YouTube, and those behind the scenes who've been working to make this work. We will not leave here without the Father's blessings. And I will, at this point, bring up someone who God has positioned to be the visionary behind all of these things that we've seen, from Digitech Academy to LCDI and the Learning Month. The power of conveying is what God has graced our Father for. And this is an output of that power of conveying. And solutions have been thrust out there to Africa. We will now hand over to him so that he will bless us, bless the continent, and fulfill what I know he's always said, that that Africa will be the greatest civilization. I heard that from him, I think in 2003, and he never left me. Ladies and gentlemen, our father, Pastor Tunde Bakari.
Omar, can we take a few more questions quickly or comments? I'm going to bring Pastor in shortly.
Okay. I've just been told that we should give him a few more minutes. Can we go back to, is OJ still there? If we can get one more feedback from those young people there, it would be quite interesting. Is OJ still there? Can we get that?
Actually, Omar, I think we're good with ESO, so we can.
Okay. The seven of us here is ready. So we will hand over to him now. Sir, the floor is yours. Okay. The seven of us here is ready. So we will hand over.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, they can hear you, Line. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. Good day to you all, and wherever you may be on the planet right now, I want to thank God for every one of you, beginning with our keynote speaker, Mr. Kayode Akomolafe, our brilliant panelists, Babatunde Olofin, my own daughter, Lola Adeyemo, and our own very own Suru Apose. Thank you so very much for your contributions to today's webinar. Same will go to our Master of Ceremony, the President of Talk, OJ, a brilliant moderator, Omo. One day I will learn to call that name very well. I will have to do some rehearsals, but I'm satisfied with Omo for now. And of course, the director of and the leadership team of LCDI, Learning Capacity Development and Integration Unit, for putting all this together. I've listened to you from the beginning to now. I grabbed some things that will be very useful to me in the days to come. And the ones I don't understand, I know who to turn to continue to learn. May the good Lord bless you all richly. Thank you so much for your fantastic contributions. The director of LCDI, Pastor Mrs. Modukwe Babatunde, requested only one thing from me, and that is Father's blessing. But before the blessing, I would like to share a story, very briefly, that I think will encourage every starter, every young learner like me, and someone who may not be so interested in technology, but is online today. To such people, everything shared may sound like Greek. The story goes down. Several years ago, when the Not 090 mobile phone was first introduced into Nigeria, before the emergence of today's smartphones, I traveled to Abeokuta to greet my mother of blessed memory. On my way to Abeokuta, my cousin who lived in London spoke with me on the phone and said, "Oh, when you get to Abeokuta, please, I'd like to speak with Mama. It's been such a long time." So when I got to Abeokuta after exchanging pleasantries with my my great mother of blessed memory, I told her that, oh, cousin Lalaro would like to speak with you. I brought out my phone. And I turned it on, my phone, my cousin was on the phone, and I said, Mama, here's the phone. Her response shocked me. She said, if you would like to deceive anybody, go and raise your father from the grave and give her what you are trying to give to me to speak on phone to someone in London. And I said, Mama, this is telephone. I turned the phone, I turned the speaker on. She could hear the voice of my cousin, and she began to ask him questions to find out if this was just complete deception. When she was persuaded, she asked me, where is the wire that has connected your phone to the pole that will make somebody in London to speak with her? From that story, I want you to know, to those learners, to those struggling with technological innovations today, please know that when things change inside of you, that's when things will change all around you. You can have a mindset of everything about technology is evil, everything is rubbish, and then take advantage of same thing. It's not going to happen. When computers started coming to Nigeria, the majority of the Christians labeled it the beast, 666, Antichrist, and were left behind. I pray that none of us listening to me today, and those who may tap into the message today, none of us will be left behind in Jesus' name. The reason that's important is that the Word of God encourages innovation, encourages technological innovation. You may now read the word technology innovation there, but the book of Proverbs, Proverbs chapter 8, verses 11 and 12, in the King James Version of the Bible, states, and I quote, Proverbs chapter 8, 11 and 12. It says, for wisdom is better than rubies, and all things that may be desired are not to be compared to it. Listen to verse 12. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. Witty inventions in that passage just read simply means skillful, ingenious, creative, or clever devices to solve problems. That's all. Skillful, ingenious, and creative or clever devices to solve problems. Brothers and sisters, it is God our Father who grants wisdom for discovering new ideas, advancements, and creative solutions both in life and work. And with a thorough understanding of technology and effective use of its tools, you too can become a solution provider and a problem solver. The returns are simply humongous, like my friend Pastor Bank would say, the returns are simply humongous. They are mind-blowing. Listen to the returns from the Word of God. This is not cleverly designed or fabled. No, it's the Word of God. The returns are so humongous. Same Proverbs 18, 15 to 21. By me, by wisdom, kings reign, rulers decree justice. By me, princes rule, and nobles, all the judges of the earth. I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently will find me. I heard the lead, the keynote speaker say, sit down and figure out 3, 4, 5 months or 5 years, what do you want to do with technology? You have to diligently seek it and find it. In verse 18, it says, riches and honor are with me, enduring riches and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold, yes, than fine gold, and my revenue than choice silver. I traverse the way of righteousness in the midst of the paths of justice. that I may cause those who love me, who love wisdom, who love witty inventions, and creative know-how, who love those things to inherit wealth, that I may fill their treasuries. I thank those who participated today. I've learned such a great thing. I thank God that Africa is not totally behind. According to our keynote speaker, he said we are top 3 and a global AI adopter, and that this is Africa's moment. The people that sat in darkness have seen the great light. Like I've said before, and I'm saying now, the greatest civilization is going to come from Africa. Don't let us ignore everything that's around us now. Seek to learn, seek to deploy these things, seek to ask questions. In no time, you master some tools and they'll become yours. Let me give you a practical example of mine. Amazon has been holding back some of my returns from the books that they were sold because of certain irregularities in my account. They needed my ISBN number. I didn't have it on me. I called my son in London. He said, Dad, it's on your phone. If you check your, what's it called now? Mobile phone, your mobile banking is there. I opened the mobile banking. I saw my balance. I saw everything, but I couldn't see that. Then I studied a little further and I saw account details and this and that. As soon as I pressed it, everything I was looking for came up and I was able to pass that information to the people that needed it. Now, my son was not there to put me through. He just said it's on your phone. I had to tinker with it and I got it. Next time, I'm not going to be asking questions. That's the attitude of a learner. I want to thank God for today. I thank the director of LCDI and every participant. And my prayer and blessing for you all and those who are still struggling is that God will fill you with witty inventions, technological know-how, that everything that you produce will begin to advance the territories of his kingdom. We need to do that. Remember what the printing press did to the preaching of the gospel, to the printing of the Bible, that made it the biggest publication in the world today. Every item, whether it's AI, whatever it is, every search engine, plus the wisdom of God we have and the Holy Spirit in us, we should be on the cutting edge of technological advancement in the world today. God bless you and God fill you with his wisdom. You will excel, and later than sooner, or sooner than later, you'll be wiser than your teachers. I thank God for the youth that participated. Latch onto the things you have learned today and run with it. I pray that all those in analog generation will also become part of the new move, technological move. In Jesus' name, shall we pray? Father, thank you for this webinar. Thank you for those who had come to offer their services, their knowledge, their know-how to us. Lord, as they have given, we ask that you replenish them and fill them afresh. And when they sleep and wake up, let them come up with brilliant ideas that will change our environment, that will add value to society, and that will provide solutions to our problems. In Jesus' mighty name, I want you to know that it was not just dreams and interpretation that made Joseph who he was. It was the blueprint he got from that dream that made him a solution provider and a problem solver. And from prison, he became prime minister and father of Pharaoh. God bless you. Latch onto what you have learned today, improve upon it, and beat your teachers also, because it will give you wisdom that will be better than those of your teachers. Congratulations. Have an amazing day.
Thank you very much, Pastor. Thank you very much, everyone, for being on the show. Pastor has made my work much more simpler this afternoon. So on behalf of the 7 Overseer, Pastor Tony Bakari, and the Director, Learning Capacity Development and Integration Unit, I want to take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude to everyone who has made today's webinar possible. To our distinguished panelists, Mr. Kayode Komolafe, Mr. Sura Avose, Mr. Babatunde Olofin, and Ms. Lola Adeyemo. Thank you for giving us your time, your insights, your vision for the future of technology, across our continent, Africa. You represent the very best of African innovation, building cloud infrastructure, digital identity systems, scalable payment platforms, and AI education. And your willingness to share your wealth of experience is a gift to everyone here today. I'm sure we can all testify. To OJ and Omar, you kept the conversation going smoothly and engaging. We say well done to you. Finally, to every one of you, thank you for choosing the time to invest, choose to invest this time with us. Thank you for your active participation and engagement and comments as well on the YouTube chat. Your presence, your questions, and your enthusiasm has made every second worthwhile. The future of technology in Africa will not be shaped by spectators, but by engaged mind like yours. As you live here today, I encourage us all today to take position in what God has in store for us as individuals, as Nigerians, and as Africans and global citizens. And let the insights from today's session inspire new ventures, sharpen existing ones, and deepen our understanding of the opportunities that the technology presents for our nation and for our continent. Thank you all, and God bless us all. And see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m. for Sunday service, and for people who couldn't search the scriptures by 9 a.m. God bless us all. Amen.